If you have been practicing past paper questions, you might have seen this question from projectile motion. A lot of my students told me that they always get confused on how to solve this question. So I decided to make a video explaining this question. This will be our first video on projectile motion. The question is, the photograph shows an area of land where golfers can practice their golf shots. Distances are marked out along the land in front where the golfer stands to measure the distance traveled by the ball. Two levels are available. If the lower level is used, the ball lands at the same height from which it was hit. If the higher level is used, this enables the ball to be hit further. The question is, a ball is given an initial velocity of 33 meters per second at an angle of 28 degrees to the horizontal. When hit from the lower level, the ball travels a horizontal distance of 92 meters before landing. Use of the higher level increases the horizontal distance traveled before landing by 10 meters. Deduce whether an upper level at a height of 4.5 meters would be sufficient to produce this increase. You should ignore air resistance. The first thing that you need to understand about this question is that it is a reasoning question. You should look out for these words like deduce or determine or any other synonym of these words. And that should give you a hint that this question might be a reasoning question. So the reason that most students find this question difficult is that they don't understand this part, this reasoning part of the question. Before you start writing any equation, you should have a very clear plan in your mind on how you will answer this question. Keeping this thing in mind, let's try to understand the question once again. The question is basically asking that if we hit the ball from the upper level, which is at a height of 4.5 meters, is this height for the upper level sufficient for the ball to cover an extra 10 meters in the horizontal direction? So basically making the total distance traveled in the horizontal direction 102 meters, because if we hit it from the lower level, the ball is covering 92 meters. If we hit it from the upper level, it will cover an extra 10 meters. So it should cover a total horizontal distance of 102 meters. The question is this height for the upper level enough to produce an extra 10-meter distance traveled in the horizontal direction? Now, I will ask you a question, and by answering that question, we'll be able to come up with a plan to solve this problem. The question is that what difference does it make if we hit it from the lower level or the upper level? Why the ball should cover an extra 10 meters? The initial velocity is the same, the angle is the same, acceleration due to gravity is the same. So why should the ball cover an extra 10 meters if we hit it from the top level? The answer is time. Because if we hit it from the top level, the ball will spend some extra time in air, and because of that extra time, it will cover some extra horizontal distance. Now that we understand that the question has to do with time, we can make a plan or a strategy to solve this question, and our plan will be as follows. The first step will be to find the time required to cover 102 meters in the horizontal direction. Second step will be to find the time of flight if the ball is hit from 4.5 meters above the ground level. In other words, in the second step, we want to find the time that the ball will remain in air if it is hit from the second level, which is 4.5 meters above the ground level. Now, if the time we find in step 2 is at least equal or greater than the time we found in step 1, then we can say that the height of 4.5 meters for the second level is enough to get an extra 10 meters in the horizontal direction. On the other hand, if the time we find in step 2 is smaller than the time required to cover 102 meters, which is the time we will find in step 1, then we can say that 4.5 meters is not enough height for the ball to cover extra 10 meters. Now let us execute our plan. The first step is to find the time to cover a horizontal distance of 102 meters. For this, we will use our equation in x direction for distance. It is distance in the x direction equals initial velocity in the x direction times time plus 1/2 acceleration in the x direction times time squared. But we know that there is no acceleration in the x direction, so this part will just be 0, and we have to work with this part right here. If you rearrange it for time, you will get time equals distance traveled in the x direction, which is 102 meters, divided by the initial velocity in the x direction, or the x component of the initial velocity, which will be 33 times cosine of 28 degrees. If you solve this, you will get 3.5 seconds. So you see, now we have a very clear understanding of the problem. Keeping the initial velocity and the angle of projection constant, the ball needs to remain in air for at least 3.5 seconds if it has to cover 102 meters. Let's execute our second step, that is to find the time of flight for the ball if we hit it from 4.5 meters above the ground level. Now, to find the time of flight for projectile motion, you can use the equation for time of flight, but remember that we are hitting the ball from 4.5 meters above the ground. So you have to take into account this initial height. And then there is all kind of questions of whether this height should be positive, negative, whether the acceleration should be positive, negative. At least I never got these signs correct. So what we will do, we will solve it differently, which will be more simple and easy to understand or easy to follow. You will be able to understand why we are using a certain equation and how we are using it. So the first thing is we will simplify the problem. We will imagine the ball going straight up and coming back straight down and hitting the ground. The reason we can do this is that a motion in the x direction and motion in the y direction are independent. So we can forget about what the ball is doing in the x direction and focus on y direction. The second thing is that we will divide this motion in two parts. In the first part, the ball will be going straight up. It will reach maximum height, at which point its final velocity will be 0 because it will stop momentarily. In the second half of its motion, it will start coming downwards from that maximum height and it will hit the ground. So we will calculate the time for the first half and calculate the time for the second half, and we will have the time of flight. So let's start with the time for the first part, that is time to reach maximum height. We can use the first equation to find the time to reach maximum height, that is Vf equals Vi plus At. And of course, we are solving in the y direction, so we'll write subscripts y. And because we have divided our motion in two parts, it simplifies our equation because in the first part, at the maximum height, the final velocity will just be 0. We can rearrange this equation for time. Time will be initial velocity in the y direction, which is v sine of theta, divided by acceleration in the y direction, which is acceleration due to gravity. And if you solve this, you will get 1.58 seconds. Now, to find the time for the second half of its motion, we cannot use the same equation that we used here because we don't know the final velocity. The initial velocity in the y direction is just 0 because it is starting from rest. At the maximum height, it was at rest, so it will the initial velocity will be 0. But we don't know the final velocity just before it hits the ground. So that's why we cannot use this equation. We will use the second equation, that is S equals VIT plus 1/2 AT squared. But even this equation will simplify because for the second half of its motion, the ball is starting from rest, which means the initial velocity in the y direction is just 0. So our equation will be Sy, that is distance in the y direction, equals 1/2 acceleration in the y direction times time squared. So we can use this equation to find the time that it will take for the ball to hit the ground from maximum height. If you rearrange this equation for time, you will get 2Sy divided by Ay and square root. And now for the last piece of our puzzle, we need to find Sy, that is height of the ball above the ground. But to find this height, first of all, we need to find the height that the ball will cover when we hit it from the second level. So first we need to find this height. For this, we will use the equation 2as equals Vf squared minus Vi squared. And I will use h here instead of s so that you don't confuse this s with this s, okay? So this is the height we are finding. And since we have divided the whole motion of the ball in two parts, at the maximum height in the first half of its motion, the final velocity in the y direction will be 0. Do not forget that we are still working in the y direction. So if you rearrange this equation for height, you will get h equals Vi squared, Viy squared actually, divided by 2 times Ay, but Ay is just acceleration due to gravity, so I'll write g. This negative sign here will actually cancel with the negative sign of the acceleration, so that's why you will not see any negative signs in this equation. Height will be positive. If you solve this equation, you should get 12.2. But this is not the total height, okay? This is just this part right here. We have to add 4.5 meters to this to get the total height. So the total height will be 16.7 meters. If you substitute this height in this equation for Sy, you will get time for the second half of our motion, and it will be 1.82 seconds. Now to find the total time of flight, we have to add these two times, the time for the first half of our motion to reach the maximum height, and the time for the second half of our motion to hit the ground coming back from the maximum height. And if you add these two times, you will see that the time is 3.4 seconds. Do you remember the time that we calculated, or the time that we need for the ball to remain in air is 3.5 seconds. But the actual time of flight, if you hit it from the 4.5 meter level, is 3.4 seconds. So as you can see, this time is not enough for it to cover extra 10 meters. So I hope you understood the main part of this question. The main and the most important part of this question was not these equations. It was the plan we developed to solve this question. And of course, this is not the only plan that you have to follow. You can think of another strategy, another plan, a much simple one maybe. And if you come up with a simpler method to solve this question, you can tell me in the comments, and I'll be happy to read and respond to your comments.